Welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I am doing a different kind of paper comparison. Now it's going to look a lot like my previous video that I will link so you guys know what I'm talking about, but I basically did the little paper samples in that envelope. But today I'm going to do these watercolor paper blocks from Jackson's. This is their in-house brand, and I wanted to try the three kinds of paper. So over here we have the cold pressed, the rough, as well as the hot pressed. They were nice enough to color code them and number them. I would number it a little bit differently, but that's just me being picky. Nothing on them. I just wanted to try it all out. So I bought all of these watercolor papers on sale this summer, and I even got myself another kind of watercolor paper, an extra rough, but I'm going to leave that for another video because I think I have enough content just with these three comparisons here. So of course, I'm filming with one hand and I've got to open with the other, so I'm on the struggle bus. So over here, if you guys notice, I switched 703 and 702 because I wanted the hot press to be in the middle to provide some contrast. Now, obviously you guys are not here in person, but in person they very much do feel different. But all I can do is show you guys visually and walk you through it. So if you look quickly here, there is definitely a difference in the texture or the grain of the paper. So here's the cold pressed on the left and then the rough on the right. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of these papers. It all comes down to personal preference. Now, they all feel very nice as it is right now. They look very different. They will yield different results, but I was just curious. I really enjoy trying things. I'm a very curious person, and I love all the artsy things. So you guys get the point. The papers are different and I'm going to be comparing them and trying them out. So since we're all on the same page, yes, pun was done on purpose. Let's get going. I'm going to start with the cold pressed watercolor block. Now, just a side note, these pads are all gummed on all four sides, which means it holds the paper down for you and you can move around, go around on the go or all around the house like I've done. And you don't have to worry about taping down your paper and your paper buckling, but I will demonstrate this and talk about it a little bit more later. So right off the bat, I enjoyed the texture of this paper pad and I'm really excited to get into it and line my cute little sketch. So this year I've tried my very best to go through the art supplies that I've been neglecting that I already have because your girl has a big collection and out of sight, out of mind is actually a thing. So I remembered that I had these really cool Uni Emott pens. I think I got them in an Artsnacks box many years ago. If I'm not mistaken, mind you, I'm pretty sure that's where I got them. And this color is exactly what I need. And I want to try a variation of fine liners on the paper because fine liners don't always react nicely to watercolor paper. So as you guys can see right here on my middle finger, I ended up getting some ink. So these pens are really juicy and I'm really excited to try it on my paper. So over here, you guys can probably not tell until I zoom in that I was able to use that little gray fine liner, and what I love is it was able to glide on the paper really nicely. And no, not all papers are receptive to fine liners. So again, I'm really happy with this paper pad so far. So fast forward, I'm going to talk more about how each side is gummed. There's like a little film or like a little bit of it's like a glue all the way around that holds the paper down. But on the left side, there's a gap. I don't know if you guys can see it well, but if you pause, maybe you can see it, but there's definitely a gap. And this is where you can slide in a paint palette or maybe even like a butter knife or an old credit card to break that seal all the way across. But I'm going to actually demonstrate that later in the video. I'm just really excited that there's a nice affordable paper pad that's gummed and I can bring it around the house with me. So now I'm going to line my sketch. I was very excited to line this one and get my little character to come to life. So now that baby's over here cuddling me, I sketched out my next sketch on the hot pressed. So the hot pressed it's very smooth. It doesn't have a textured surface like the other two, and it's going to yield different results. So now I'm moving on to the rough paper, and honestly I was the most excited to try this one out because I personally prefer a more rough grain to my paper, but there's no right or wrong answer. This is just a personal preference. I love how it felt on my pencil. I love the sensory experience. I love the sound it makes. And believe it or not, I actually like my outline better than my sketch. And it's usually rare. I usually love my sketch more than my outline, but for this particular illustration, I absolutely fell in love with the lined version. So yay for me. That's not usually the norm for me, but I'm not complaining. I'm here for it. So here are all 3 of my illustrations, one after another. Keep an eye on the background so you guys can see the different textures make the difference. So here we have the cold press, hot press, and the rough. I just wanted to point out to you guys that on the paper pad, this is advertised as a natural white. So this is not a bright white. So as you guys might or might not notice, it's not like the whitest of whites, but it doesn't matter because you're going to paint it. But if you compare it just to the inner cover, it makes a difference. And for some people, especially if you're professionally selling your artwork, it makes a difference. But if you're in the right lighting and you're painting over the whole thing, you really don't see it. I'm just being picky and pointing it out to you. Now I'm just showing you guys the different paint palettes I'm planning to use. I had very specific ideas of what I wanted to illustrate as well as what colors I want to have in my illustrations. However, this paint palette needed a bath. I can't even remember the last time I washed it. This is my oldest watercolor paint palette. It's probably my most used and my most loved, but it needed a bath and now I'm ready to go. Look how pretty and clean and shiny it is. I don't know when you'll see it like this again, but guys, if you've got a crusty palette, just clean it. It needs it once in a while. So now we are fresh, clean, ready to go, and I am so excited to dive in to coloring this. As I mentioned, I really had very specific ideas of color palettes and themes and feelings that I wanted to evoke in these illustrations. So what I did is I made sure I had a scrap piece of paper so that I could get the right colors, swatch them out before, because I tend to just go in and then sometimes I regret my choice. So I was really thoughtful when it came to picking my colors and swatching them out before, and I'm going to show that process throughout the whole thing. So now I've got my sky filled in and I'm really happy that that gray is showing through. I'm already happy with how the watercolor is reacting to the paper. So now I am going to pick the right shade of green in my Viviva colors over here, as you guys can see, and I'm going to color in the grass and I'm going to mix up the right shade of green. I can't encourage you guys enough to make big puddles so you have enough colors and to swatch out your colors on a little swatch sheet, because I can't tell you guys how many times I just impulsively went in. It was too saturated or I just ruined it in a whole plethora of ways, and we're not going to get into that. I really enjoyed that I did that, and it took off a whole extra layer of mystery and anxiety. So here we go. I am almost done, and all the colors turned out exactly the way I was hoping and exactly the way I liked it. I know I still have to fill in that little section in the ear. I didn't forget, but I'm going to pull out my Copic Acrylic markers. I've actually done a review on these. I really like them. I will link that review up at the top and down below. But all I need is my white because it works extremely well and I need it to add in some little details. I'm still not done and I know you guys can't see it properly, but I needed to make it white to pop out, and I will touch it up a little later in the video, but you guys will see the results at the end. So now I'm going through these color palettes so that I can pick the right color, because I am moving on to my hot pressed and my squirrel. Now this one, I really have specific colors in mind, and Viviva's really gonna come in for me clutch here because they've got the right shades, and I'm gonna do some little mixy mixes, and we're just gonna get the colors going because I need it to be perfect. Now, speaking of perfect, these paper pads are almost perfect, and this is the only time it buckled, but it didn't make a difference. I just wanted to point it out. It's normal that the paper buckles, and even if it buckles a little bit like that, it shouldn't make a huge difference. I just wanted to be honest in my review. The other two textured ones didn't buckle like that. I'm really loving this earthy fall palette. I'm so excited for the end result. So what I wanted to do is mix up the perfect colors, and I was able to achieve that. And I really love how this one's coming together. It got me really excited. I have to be careful that red leaf over here doesn't leak when I'm showing it to you guys, but I'm just so excited at this point. So I can't wait to continue. So now everything is dry, we're safe, and I'm going to be able to go in and work on some other parts, and I don't have to worry about leakage and smudging, and now I can work on the squirrel. Now, personal preference, I don't particularly like working on hot press paper. This isn't to knock this brand. I just don't like it very much. I find the pigments sit differently. I find it's a different sensory experience, and it's not my favorite. So I am already planning to use color pencil later on in this video to add some depth and dimension and texture and to make up for some inconsistencies that I'm not too happy with. Now, I realize this can just be because I'm not used to it, but there's a workaround, and part of art is just figuring things out. So I'm going to get my white Copic Acria again to help out my little toadstool mushrooms, and boom, look at that difference. Don't be rigid like me, guys. Just because you're doing watercolor doesn't mean everything has to be watercolor. Mix it up, do some mixed media, use what you have. There's no art police, and if there is, just don't let them in. So as I was saying, I don't like the little inconsistencies that tend to happen on hot press paper. Maybe it's because I'm not used to it, but I find this happens no matter what company I use, and I'm going to mitigate that with some colored pencils. But first, we're gonna go play over here with the rough paper. I'm really excited with how this turtle shell is working out. I love the colors, and the technique I used was really fun to do, and I haven't actually done it before. If you guys are interested in a tutorial when I make these little characters, just let me know in the comments. I actually really like making characters and painting them, and I actually like making little friends for my characters. It's something I enjoy, so if that's something that would interest you, let me know down below, and I might make an effort to do more of these, but do it more as a tutorial style. So over here, I have filled it out quite a bit, but what I want to do is come in with the flowers and the foliage, kind of like what I did with my previous video, that bunny in the lilac field. I want to add some colors, some pizzazz, some flowers, and I was so excited how it turned out in that other video, so I'm going to do something very similar to that, but of course a little different. And this technique is actually super user-friendly, beginner-friendly, any skill level really, and it's just so fun and very easy to do. So over here, I'm going to demonstrate to you guys what I meant earlier about breaking the seal. So I'm just going to take a little dollar store paint palette that's very well loved, might I add, and I'm going to show you guys. You just slide it in. It's very simple, and you just slide across nice and straight, and it just breaks the seal, and then just like that, your painting pops off and you're good to go. Now, I mentioned this earlier, I really do like my illustration. However, I had it in my mind from the get-go I was going to use colored pencil, and it was perfect because summer was just ending when I was doing this. Fall was coming. My baby was at the center. I had just a little bit of time to myself, and I was able to finish my illustration. So here they are, all finished. I've got the mouse for the summer, a nice fall squirrel, and then a springtime turtle. Now, the sunshine made it seem not as bright, and I keep telling you guys lighting is everything. I actually kind of wish I left this on the paper pad and it wasn't loose, but whatever. I ended up framing them, and I ended up bringing them into a local shop where I sell my artwork. So I want to know, you guys, which one is your favorite? The mouse, the squirrel, or the turtle? Because I like them all for different reasons. And if you guys are interested in seeing more character designs, like I said, just let me know down below. If you guys are interested in trying these paper pads, I'm an affiliate with Jackson. That means I make a small commission if you purchase through my link at no extra cost to you. I will link it down below. Let me know if you try it. Bye, guys.